Once there was a king who had 6 daughters and no son. When the queen gave the happy news that she was going to be a mother again, the king spoke harshly. He said, "If this child is also a girl, then I will not let her live." Hearing this, the queen became very worried. As the time of childbirth came closer, the king ordered the midwife, "If a girl is born, end her life immediately." The time came, and a very beautiful baby girl was born. The moment the midwife saw her face, she could not kill her. The baby smiled, and from her lips, fragrant flowers fell. The midwife was shocked. When the queen heard this, she too was amazed. She gave the midwife lots of gold and silver and said, "Please lie to the king so that I can secretly raise this little princess." And so the princess started growing up in hiding. As she learned to walk, something magical happened. Every step she took produced bricks of gold and silver. The queen hid them safely. Some time passed. A famine came, and the royal treasury became empty. The king sat worried, wondering how he would save the kingdom. Then the queen secretly brought a few golden bricks to him. The king was shocked. "Where did you get these?" he asked. The queen said, "First, promise me you will spare my life." The king promised. Then the queen brought forward her 7th daughter. When the little princess walked, gold and silver fell behind her. When she smiled, flowers showered gently from her lips. The king saw his youngest daughter for the first time, and his heart melted. He forgave the queen and hugged the little princess close. But the older sisters felt burning jealousy. To end their jealousy, the king built a separate, beautiful palace for the youngest daughter. One day, the king was going on a journey. He asked his daughters, "What gift should I bring for each of you when I return?" The youngest princess was busy praying. She told her maid, "Tell the king, patience." The maid misunderstood and thought there was an actual item called patience. When the king returned, he brought gifts for all the daughters, and for the youngest, he gave a small box. "This is patience," he said. The princess didn't understand and placed the box in a corner. One hot day, while searching for a fan, she opened the box. Inside was a beautiful, elegant fan. As soon as she waved it, a breathtakingly handsome prince appeared right before her. The princess fainted out of shock. The prince revived her and said, "Whenever you wave this fan, I will come to you, and when you wish, I will go back." From then on, they spent every day and night together. The older sisters found out. Their jealousy grew even more. They pretended to be loving and friendly, trying to learn the secret of the prince. One day, they said, "We prepared a soft bed for your guest." But in reality, they had spread sharp pieces of glass beneath it. The innocent princess trusted them. She waved the fan and called the prince. The moment he lay on the bed, the glass pieces pierced his body. He was covered in blood. Terrified, the princess waved the fan again and sent him back to his kingdom. Days passed, but the prince never returned. She cried and waved the fan again and again, but there was no answer. Finally, she made a decision. She would go to the prince's kingdom herself. She wore boy's clothes and began her journey. She wandered through forests, lost and tired. One day, while resting under a tree, she heard a parrot and a myna talking. The myna said, "The real cure is the broth of a giant wild pigeon, the size of a human, with shining blue eyes. If its broth is made and given to the prince, all his wounds will heal." Hearing this, the princess made up her mind. She would find that pigeon. After many days of wandering through forests and valleys, she reached a huge tree. There sat the giant pigeon, human-sized, with glowing blue eyes. She carefully set a trap and scattered grains. The pigeon stepped into the trap and she caught it. She took it back and prepared its broth. The fragrance spread through the entire palace. When she reached the prince, all the courtiers were amazed to see such a noble-looking young physician. The princess wore a veil so that no one would recognize her. She said, "If you allow me, I can give this broth to the prince." They agreed. She fed him the broth, and a miracle happened. His wounds began to heal rapidly. Within a few days, he became perfectly healthy, stronger and more handsome than before. To show his gratitude, the prince called the physician to court and said, "O kind healer, you saved my life. Ask for anything. I will not refuse." The princess smiled and said, "Prince, don't you recognize me?" She lifted her veil. The prince gasped. His beloved princess was standing right in front of him. Overwhelmed with joy, he fell at his feet. The courtiers stared in amazement. The prince called her the queen of his life and seated her beside his throne. A few days later, they had a grand wedding. For 7 days and 7 nights there were celebrations. The princess sent word to her father, the king. He, the queen, and all the sisters came to the wedding. The older sisters felt ashamed and begged for forgiveness. The princess forgave them with a big heart. And so the prince and princess lived happily ever after. When she laughed, flowers fell. When she walked, gold and silver showered behind her. And whenever she waved her magical fan, the winds of happiness began to blow. If this little story made your heart smile, then please give the video a tiny like. And don't forget to subscribe. And, tap the bell icon gently, okay? Oh, and leave your sweetest comment. I love reading them.